Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. Amazing guests the world over with incredible insights. They're here to share not just their own journey, but also some of their other experiences. It could be otherworldly. We've had near-death experiences. We've had all sorts of other encounters. But it may be just the fact that this person, our guest, is giving service to others in some amazing way. We've had doctors, a White House physician to the US president, psychologists, counselors, healers of all sorts of modalities from all over. I think it's 25 countries now we've had for guests who are coming from these countries. We're booked through 2025 now, which is pretty incredible. We're filming in 2024. That's not really on purpose. It's done by accident, but there's so many synergies doing it that way. So thank you very much for tuning in and checking this show out. We're a tiny show, but a big guest footprint. Why? Because we've got the angels, universe, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and many other loving beings of light helping us out. Guests get to take steps before the show, quite often during the show, and certainly after the show. You get any answers to any questions, all languages spoken, and so on. Hugs, which are more important than questions. And so it's all direct. Kick me out of the way. And that's kind of fun. At the very least, smell a little bit of lit sage and get some flowers from somewhere else across the globe. It doesn't matter if it's 2035 and you're watching this in Germany. Time and space isn't quite what you think it is. So please hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment. Emojis count for comments. And get this to anybody you know. Again, we're a super small show, super small footprint, but just amazing guests. Speaking of which, coming to us from Florida right now, Roberta Goodman. She's, you could say dolphin lady, but she's really a guide to nature, wilderness, whales, dolphins, and other mammals and animals. But I would argue she's a guide to life, the universe, and your own heart. Because in the act of connecting with the dolphin, getting into the ocean, live encounters, she's helping you let go of the structure, the society side of you to reacquaint yourself with your true nature, your inner nature, your own ability to love and share. And that's what happens when you connect with dolphins. Her background, really quickly, Santa Cruz, University of California initially, then University of Hawaii. She's been doing this an awfully long time, since like the mid 80s, 1980s. And initially, she worked with dolphins in captivity. She's an author, but she's been featured in like 20 books because she's truly a dolphin expert. I'll leave it at that. She's super knowledgeable on everything from dolphins and whales to, I'll add one more thing, aloha. So with that, I'll say aloha, Roberta. I know you're in Florida, not in Hawaii anymore. Great to have you here. Thank you for being a guest on the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. What a beautiful introduction. Things I didn't know about myself.
Well, you've met a lot of people over time, and we'll get to that towards the end of the show. There's John Lilly and there's Timothy Wiley, who didn't just do books on angels, on dolphins. He did books on angels as well. You'll have to share with us whatever you wish to share. But where should we start here? When did your fascination with the ocean and dolphins and more begin?
Okay, thank you, Michael. And it's wonderful being here. I don't know how you found me, but I'm so glad to be here with you now. And again, um, I was a swimmer on swim team since I was 6 years old and really wanted to find my passion. I wasn't guided much by my parents. My mom wasn't conversational, but she had a great bookshelf, and it was full of metaphysical books. So since I was 10, I was reading Ruth Montgomery, later Robert Monroe, Journeys Out of the Body. I followed along when she was doing the tape to get out of her body in her bedroom. I could overhear it, and I would try to get out of my body as well. I really wanted to hallucinate, and there was experiments putting people into isolation, bundling them all up, putting ping pong balls on their eyes, and after a while their brains wake up and they begin to see visions. I tried that in my bed just as a preteen. I really wanted to experience an altered reality, something different. Guess I wasn't so happy in the one I was in, but Yeah, so I went to Maui with a friend who went on vacation, came back and said, I'm moving. I said, I'm coming with you. So I dropped out of UC Santa Cruz. And in her bookstore that she worked, I saw the cover to this book by John Lilly. Can you see it?
Oh, no, the fuzziness is still kicking in.
Oh, oh. Okay, well, it's Communication Between Man and Dolphin. It has a cover with his wife and a beluga whale face to face. And I said, that's what I want to do. I want to talk to dolphins. That and so I read everything I could while I was on Maui, a lot of John Lilly books, which also went into consciousness. Um, and when I got back into the Bay Area, I still hadn't found an open to the sea research communication center like he described. He worked in one in St. Thomas, and that's what I wanted to do. But a friend wanted to go to MarineWorld and see the tigers. And I knew there were dolphins there, but that wasn't the environment I wanted to see them in. But we went together, and it was very difficult for me. I'm clenching up and my palms are sweating from the feelings I had watching them do their behaviors and then seeing three dolphins in a very small pool with a petting pool where people could put their hands in and people were shouting and knocking rings and their keys on the side of the pool and splashing and screaming when the dolphins would splash them. And it was a summer day, just so crowded. And I went away saying, that's not the place for me. But a little when it was, so that was the end of summer, and in the fall it calmed. I figured it was going to be calmer and I decided to go back. So meanwhile, I was living with a platonic relationship. He had his own bedroom, Steve, and I had mine on the other side of a wall. We slept head to head, but a wall between us. And I just wanted him to come into my room and cuddle one evening. One night, he was asleep in bed. And so I imagined going into his room, waking him up, and leading him through the doorway and back into my room to be with me. But around the doorway, I kept having to go back and pick him up again and shake him. And I listened to see if his bed was creaking or if I could hear him waking up. And so I did that several times. And then I heard him, ah. And he was making these, nightmarish noises. So I went around to his room and laid down next to him and I said, tell me what happened. And he said that he was trying to go out his door and there was somebody in the hallway blocking him and he couldn't go. And laying in his bed, he looked up and he saw a blue light at the side of his bed, about 3-4 feet off the floor. Mm-hmm. So I found out that I could be a blue light. Which, with all my esoteric background, I had never felt special. I never had a gift to talk to angels or get out of my body. It just didn't. So this was confirmation. So I used this, and in meditation before going to MarineWorld, I went out of my body visually, or, I don't know if I went out or not, but I imagined it. Went out of my body, called the dolphins to me, and said, I want to work with you. I want to learn from you. You are my teachers, you are my masters, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to work with you. I don't have a PhD, so I can't do research that way. I need another door in. I need you to let them know I'm different. Tell them I'm different so that I can work with you. And came back when I felt it was done, and then went to MarineWorld on my own. And it was a much quieter day. There were a couple people around the petting pool, and one dolphin was coming up under people's hands just a little, and then she'd keep going around the pool. And I quietly went over and just put my hands down, and imagine the same aura going into the pool as I reached out with, but just quiet. And she came up under my hands, and I just, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe I was touching a dolphin for the first time ever after, this is who I'm coming to as a master. And she let me stroke her, and then she kind of skittled across the top of the surface of the water and then turned back and looked at me eye to eye and came right back into my arms and laid there in my arms. And it was overwhelming to have that sort of response, acknowledgement and recognition of some sort. And yes, my respect and love, it could just, the touch of my hands being so loving and such, or some deeper kind of recognition that I don't really, understand totally. So I began going to the petting pool and learning from her. She became my best friend. No one moderated our interactions. I'd wear a swimsuit, and there was a 3-foot wall, so I would fold over the wall at my hips and lay my hands in the water, and she'd come in my arms, and I would take her tail and lift it up and put it behind my neck and be able to massage her, and then take her tail, and she would pull down, and we would dance with me holding her tail. She would be in the water flowing, and I would be twisting her, and she would totally surrender, so that any way that I moved her, she was just flexible, just totally pliable. And we would, lift her up and plunge her down. And after a beautiful, graceful choreography, which would never be repeated, she would run around the tank and do like splashless bows, not a splash, in and out of the water. Or she would zoom around under the water, corkscrewing all the way around. And then just before me, she would come and stand, her tail on the bottom, it was that shallow, and her head in the air, and beam me, and close her eyes a little and just wave her head and her whole throat open to me, and beam me with this appreciation and pleasure. It was extraordinary. So she taught me a lot of things. And 3 dolphin secrets I then carried on to my wild dolphin tours. So the first dolphin secret was to relax and surrender. So we would do this on the boat. Take a deep breath, let it go, and just surrender, breathe and relax, and then get into the water with the dolphins. And I would take their hands and bring people into the water and get them comfortable so they could just lay and float. And when the dolphins when they see the dolphins underneath them, they would just melt into the ocean. I could feel their hand go from clench to just melt. And next, when the dolphins come, be present, hold their eye contact, be present. And their attention is always longer than ours. They're more intense than ours. The moment you think of another thing, the moment you look up and around, they're gone. So really be present in that, because they can handle a lot of presence, a lot more than we can. And then when you do move, go in grace. So she taught me grace. Grace is her art form. Grace is her body, is her art. And use your body as art, and be conscious of how you move it in the water. If you dive down, make sure you're not diving on top of them and interfering, or just keep your feet under the water so you're not splashing. Just be graceful in your environment. So those are the 3 dolphin secrets when I take people out from Hawaii to go on wild dolphin swims and other places in the world.
Can you tell us some of those places? That was super beautiful. We're going to get back to more of your experiences and your journey. But Polynesia, Bimini, Bahamas, elsewhere, can you describe some of the places across the globe where you've been a guide for either families, groups, and so on?
So the last 2 Augusts, I've taken people to Moorea, which you fly into Tahiti, and it's just a 35-minute ferry ride over to this beautiful island called Moorea. And there it's legal to swim with humpback whales. And the first year I brought 16 women, and I did 2 boat trips a day with 8 people on each boat trip. And we were able to find humpback whales, see what they're doing, and slip into the water 100 yards away and have to swim a long ways to get to them and see what we could see. And we could hear them singing. We saw babies. The mom let the baby just come and check us all out. We saw a lot of sleeping whales just hanging down below, and then they come up and breathe and are right next to us and alert at the surface, looking us in the eyes, and then they go and do their own thing. And this August, we had an over-the-top extraordinary encounter with a female whale. We had watched them sleep for about an hour, come up and breathe, and then go down. And then the male came up and like went right under us, went back down for rest again. And the next time they came up, the female just rolled at the surface right under us, like a foot under us, waving her fins and her tail, and she never touched any of us. There were 10 of us in the water. And while being just a foot away, it was so amazing. We had a 10-minute encounter like that. And there were a number of extraordinary encounters this season. So I can't wait to go back next August and see them again. So I also take people swimming with spotted dolphins in Bimini, one of the Bahama Islands. And that's a very popular place to go see spotted dolphins. If you've ever seen spotted dolphins in a video, it's probably from the Bahamas. And they're very friendly as well, very used to people. So my dolphin swims, I did 17 years. Well, I was 27 years in Hawaii and was taking people out to dolphins there, but they banned it. 2021, they just nixed the dolphin swims after 30 years of trying.
Hawaii's in the middle of a lot of banning and limiting and control and everything else. And like any other attempt by mankind to try to control everything, it'll ebb and flow. When you first got to the island, was it anything like that? Was it just wide open? Was it very casual?
We could take people out and swim with them every day. And the spinner dolphins there travel right along the coast. We could find them 99% of the time.
Yep.
And get in the water with them. You never knew what they were up to. We always wished everybody had a magical day, but sometimes we were just watching them travel and they just passed by. But there were 200 of them very frequently. And that's extraordinary when you see 200 dolphins go by right under you.
Can we connect the dots here? Because mankind has had a long tradition, at least a couple thousand years, of structure, society, knowing stuff that precludes possibility, being kind of the neck and above. A lot of thinking and reacting, rejecting, resisting. Again, the type of knowledge that precludes possibility, an attempt to control everything, our environment, you name it. And in a lot of ways, for a lot of good reasons, we put limits in of all sorts. Your interactions with dolphins is a whole different experience, a whole different universe, a whole different reminder of what humans are capable of. Because the only thing that can exceed mankind's proclivity or ability to be density up here is its ability to love, which is still untapped and unexplored, really, and really on the horizon for us if you want to believe in a broader galaxy and what awaits for mankind and more consciousness. Can you connect dolphins, your journey, how you help people interact with dolphins, to the broader picture, and how Hawaii one day may be allowing swimming with dolphins all over again?
Well, if we can go back to MarineWorld for a minute, after working with Terry and being part of a research group even with her, I became a diver for the park. I did shark feed shows underwater, hand feeding sharks. I cleaned the moray eel tank, and I would hold the moray eels up so people could see them at the window. Got very familiar with all of them, but also worked scrubbing the dolphin tank. And I'm not going to be able to show you the photo, I guess, but I worked with a 20-foot pilot whale called Coco. And one day, Coco, I don't know if you can see this, that's Coco's head and my head. And this close, he blasted me with sound. And I just opened up. I had, one day I'll be able to interpret this. I've just opened up, and it lasted a long time. All these noises embedded them in every cell in my body. So when I was done with MarineWorld, and living in Hawaii, I started writing, and I thought I would write my dolphin stories. And instead, I wrote a manual on revising education. And it all goes back to bringing in what dolphins know best, which their limbic system is so complex. It's called the fourth lobe of their brain. And this is all about feelings, emotions. It explains pod consciousness. And this is just what you said, all the things that we've missed, that we've separated from, actually.
Yeah.
And to bring that into our school system, into us. So on the whale trip, we see this awesome experience. And that is a moment that you can repattern your neural pathways in your brain. It's called neuroplasticity, and you're reinforcing like awesomeness and all the feeling of awesomeness when you see something like that, by going back and remembering it, by doing a guided meditation towards these things. But so we did guided meditations, we did mindfulness exercises, just real quick ones, and we recounted the story of the whale, how it made me feel, how it made each of us feel. And we can develop our limbic qualities of community mindedness, pod consciousness, of empathy, curiosity, and togetherness. Yes.
The human mind likes to reduce everything to a quantifiable term that isn't realistic in the universe, and it therefore limits our future interactions and whatever we're talking about. Is it fair to say pod consciousness and dolphins and whales and others have it together more than humans do and are actually a little more advanced?
Yes, it's fair to say. So they don't know exactly, but it seems like 5 million years with a brain size in bottlenose dolphins comparable to ours. Actually, now it's larger than ours, but comparable to ours, with a very highly developed limbic system. So 5 million years of pod consciousness, they are our masters for that. They can show us our future. If we don't want to get totally techie and AI and, go to that extreme, we've got to go back into our feelings and our connectedness and empathy for each other, our curiosity, our sense of wonder and play. And these things, dolphins definitely open up in us, and they live in these realms.
Do you give names to dolphins over time? Have you been doing that? And which dolphin did you want to mention to us? Describe that dolphin, its personality, and how often you got to reunite.
So there was a dolphin named Ruffles, and the video I took with him was quite at the beginning of the wild dolphin swims, and was viewed a couple 10,000 views or something, which, I mean, without any publicity, you know, with no platform, it was viewed a lot. And he came back and joined another really exquisite encounter, which I've just posted online, with a song by Pamela Pullen called The Heart of the World. And it's a very magical song and a pod of dolphins that Ruffles brought into me. So Ruffles, his fin is all like tattered, a little bit crooked and on the back edge of his fin, and I called him Ruffles. And he's been in a number of very intimate encounters with dolphins in the wild off Kona coast. Yeah.
Well, let's do this. Let's blow some sage. This is something we do on every show, and it doesn't matter about time and space. You can smell the sage. It could be 2 years in the future, 10 years in the future. I'm just going to light some sage, call it energy, call it love, call it universal consciousness, but set your intent, ask the universe, ask angels to help you out of your head into your heart, as you would for going on a walk, sipping tea, playing golf, or anything else. Although we forget to set our intent for everything.
Yes.
Some people might taste it if they're very highly empathic or sensitive, if they're just seeing the flame. But the smoke, can start to catch it. And why settle for just linear? You can have sage, flowers, and even ocean. So with your permission, catch sage, catch flowers from Polynesia, and even catch the ocean from Polynesia. Got all three?
I was smelling it as soon as you mentioned sage, and before you even lit it, I could feel the density of the smoke. And
we've done this a few times before, including just before the show. It's always good to, like, you know, not flub. I don't think we've ever flubbed yet on the show. With that, I did want to put up a couple angels for food for thought. They're going to just simply, they're already on track with you on this. They're going to put a couple reminders that you can then run with. So we'll just do one angel at first, because I think this will be really good. Her name's Joy. She might as well be a dolphin. Here's Joy. Can you get 2 reminders, 2 hugs privately, and get anything else you need? But have her give you a reminder about dolphins that then you can immediately run with. If you want to see a little pink light on your eyelid shut, anybody at home can do this. Why not? What are you allowing for daily? And the bottom line is, we can all allow for more. That's all it is. And I think that's what Roberta does for everybody, is get out of what you know long enough to experience the more of the universe, the pod consciousness, and the love that's within you and around you constantly. But we do our best with the brain and rules and structure to block it out as fast as possible. Okay, what did Joy remind you of, and what can you share with us?
So John Lilly's Dolphins, Joe and Rosie, I became his research director with Joe and Rosie. And I also worked with him when I was a diver. And one day, Joe, holding onto his fin, he took me for a ride around in a spaceship. Like, we had a glass bubble around us. The wall, we went right around the perimeter of the tank. The walls flying by. I have no feeling of motion of water. And I pay attention to it like, wow, it's like we're in a glass bubble. Like slipstreaming might be for a baby dolphin, but I'm the same size as he is and going around. And he took me around the tank in this glass bubble.
So you had some sort of an extra, some sort of an extra modality going on, where you had a different experience. It wasn't just like holding onto a dolphin like you've held on before, getting pulled through the water with the resistance. You had no resistance. You were having an experience. How do you explain that? Do you think dolphins are much more than we appreciate?
They are definitely much more than we appreciate. And it opens up our imaginations to see where they may be, see where they're coming from. But what happened next added to the extraordinary part. So I went back down to scrub on the bottom on a hookah hose so I can breathe down the bottom. So I went back down and I laid upside down and watched as Rosie came and jumped into the air and came straight down at me, and my head's on the concrete looking up, and she comes straight for my forehead, and I am not moving. My eyes are wide open, like, let's see what's going to happen here. And at the last minute, she just zoomed, veered. But it was such a feeling of unexpected trust, like willingness to be in this encounter with her that could have been terrifying or could have been, I mean, she would not smash herself against the concrete or anything, but it was just, oh, so that happened right after the spaceship ride. Then she came and like went right for my third eye.
I'll put up an angel named Charlotte. Here's something about both of those experiences. You can keep them private or give us a Cliff Notes summary later, but get something that's deep, personal, puts context to it for each. And if you want to have one of the dolphins coming in, whether they're on the other side or still here today, you can have Charlotte bridge that gap and have one of the dolphins come in, Rosie or the other one, and hear them crystal clear, if you don't mind. Breathe through the mouth to let go a little extra. Close your eyes. You can see one of them underwater. Which one are you getting, John or Rosie? I think I got the names right.
Rosie.
Good.
Rosie.
Hear her as if it's not third grade English. She's a professor, but hear her third grade level, so it's cute. And then if you can take everything and give us a reminder for all of us about walking a smoother path in life and sharing a little more love, being a little more light, there's a point there. And then if you don't mind recounting either of those stories and adding a little extra dimension to it, between Charlotte and Rosie, they can add the context so you can share a little more about what happened those days. Get a hug while you're at it. Don't forget to get a hug from Rosie, even though I know a hug isn't the number one thing that you can. Yeah.
She's just going, be with me, be with me. And I could see holding her hand and skipping together with her.
And people at home, not to interrupt the flow here, but you can just close your eyes, meditate, ask Rosie the dolphin to come in. You really do need to let go. So play your favorite song. I'll recommend Lotus Flower by Radiohead, exactly 5 minutes, put it on repeat, and your brain will be occupied with the music. And if there's no such thing as not having a pillow for meditation, there's no right way or wrong way. Call it taking a nap, grab a stuffed animal. It doesn't matter. Set your intent, ask angels, the universe to get you out of your head, into your heart. Own it with a thank you. Om Sairam, amen, rock and roll, whatever's your personal patented way of setting your intent. It's all you have to do. The universe, Rosie, and Roberta in a second will take care of the rest. Roberta, what did you just come into knowing a little bit more of?
It's about a deep trust and trust in the flow, riding the waves and seeing what wise eyes, wise open.
And do you have a little more context to add to the first part or the second part with the diving towards the head or the special ride around the tank? Is there now a little broader context to it, or did either Charlotte or Rosie, you can close your eyes again and have Charlotte and Rosie come in and add. Rosie was giving you a beautiful flyby saying hi, but is it an awareness raising move or just love?
Yeah. It's really a trust and willingness to go into altered states. That this is not all there is, that what we know is not all there is.
Well, there's a couple in Korea that do free diving and sometimes scuba diving too, with just a ton of video online. I've invited them on the show. I'll have to remember. It might be like Alejandro and Marina. And they have such beautiful underwater footage. She can hold her breath for like 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, it's crazy. And it's just, they
Mhm.
put great music up, modern sort of music to it. And it's just a great chance to get out of what you know. If I can remember and find the link, I'll put it in the video here, or we'll get them as guests. By 2026, I'll have them on as guests. Okay, what's the takeaway for all of us that there's simply more in each moment and to allow for more? But can you put it more into terms from
Yeah.
your journey and why even a trip with you isn't just a normal trip to see dolphins or whales or to go to the other part of the globe, the other side of the globe? Can you talk about how it's really a journey within a little bit more?
A lot of people come with some fear of the ocean, and we, uh, with the help of the whales or dolphins, we definitely get over that one. It's instant when you see the whales or dolphins to just surrender, to relax totally, open up, and be fearless in the deep blue ocean. Um, so, yeah, that- we all need emotional healing. And that also comes very naturally to have new connections made to joy, to empathy, connectedness. Yeah. Um, that's,
I have two more figures for you. I realized I've got Kapuna Auntie Margaret, not immediately, but next. And then I have an angel who's light waves of energy and water, soft spoken professor. She's a silhouette in the photo, although she's on the cover of my book with her, and they're little metallic balls of light. And there's another way and another way. There's no one way for these photos. But here's Min, the Lakota Sioux word for water. And an awala is a Polynesian morning glory vine, sweet potatoes in the ground, real morning glory flowers on the vine. And ua and la in Hawaiian, I think, is rain and sun or sun and rain, rain and sun.
Mhm.
So it's water rainbow, water morning glory, whichever way you want to call her. But just Min works great. Catch a little bit of Hawaii in the air, and she's been called Mother Hawaii, definitely a touch of Hawaiian spirituality, very cosmic. And there's about 80,000 of us that have her as a guardian angel. I had a guest, episode 110, Dr. Karen Wyatt, who has her as a guardian angel, recognized her right away, shared in her, again, episode 110, August 30th, 2024, shared how when she was 8, 9, 10 years old in bed, she wakes up tucked in perfectly, sees a hallmark like angel all in white, this one. From that moment on, she knew she wanted to be a physician. Here she is, a retired physician, sharing this with us. She got to run into her as a human for 30 minutes on Redondo Beach. Another in the mid-September of 2024, Dr. Reverend Julie Moret, who just was in the Himalayas as Everest, base camp, not the very top. On the board of Agape Spiritual International, the Michael Bernard Beckwith organization. She's on the board. She described meeting her in Manhattan when she was in her 20s doing a corporate job, not trusting, like the way you said, not trusting her ability to connect. And so the first night that this angel came in, 1 minute, and then she freaked out. And the next night, 2 minutes, and then she freaked out. And then by like a week later, 2 weeks later, she was getting like used to the water of consciousness, because in a way, water is consciousness. And so it was odd to have a couple of experts so close to each other connecting to this particular angel. Now, forget everything I said. Treat her as Mother Hawaii. Feel, catch a little Hawaii. My microphone's up here. I'm going to look like a dork blowing, but catch a little wind of Hawaii on your face and in your area, Maui, and just say, got it when you got it.
Mm.
And now ask Min to bring you the effects, even of pod consciousness, and two of your favorite dolphins may not have been mentioned so far. Breathe through the mouth to turn up the volume. Hear them, hear Min, and hear a quick, I don't like the word lesson, hear a reminder on awareness consciousness that's available to us all if we would only pay attention more and slow down.
Mm.
And I'm going to put this down. And what do you have for us?
So it's very similar to what a baby whale said that came, that whose mom let him come and play with us, that My mom trusts me to come to you. You are in her protection and our protection, and you're trustworthy. We trust you. And yeah, we I was regressed one time and I went back to being a baby whale by a mama whale. And it was just so much security, so much, I mean, without even thinking of insecurity, just the power. It was ultimate power that nothing else could enter into there. We were sovereign beings. We are sovereign beings. And you can hold yourself as a sovereign being, and whatever comes, trust yourself, listen to your own sense of what's going on, be sovereign, and be secure in that. Yeah.
I like it. I'll put up a photo of Kapuna onto you, Margaret. I like to describe her as love on a Hawaiian breeze. She's a sweetie, and let her bring to you what she will. Just give me one more second here. Here she is. And catch an extra Hawaiian flower or breeze smell, fresh air. That's my dog, blonde dog named Joy, after the angel named Joy. My cat just visited me. She's named after Elvis Presley, but actually named after an angel named Presley, who's the interconnectedness of all. Maybe we'll do her next. I don't have any photos or images I use for Presley, so that'll be good. What do you get from Kapuna Auntie Margaret about all of this?
If she could chant with us now, if that photograph would have chanted, it would have gone right into your soul, into your heart, and inside your body, and just cleaned it all out and pulled out anything extra. But it would have just permeated you. The ole, the chanting is, if you can imagine, just comes in and cleans out into all your heart, your mind, your soul. And I could hear her ole come inside.
Oh, uh, and the last figure, if you don't mind closing your eyes and if you don't mind rubbing your hands in a circle, just to clean the slate for a second, start over. 2, 3 seconds is good. No one's done this. You haven't done this in 30 years since you were 2. And then drop your hands. Let Presley come in. Now, that name is a little interesting. She wrote in on Elvis Presley movies, but she's the interconnectedness of all, an angel. And there's a hope, a faith, a joy, a grace, a harmony. Boy, did they have it easy for names. But when you say the interconnectedness of all, that's not that easy. So let Presley do her thing. See her as light on your eyelids, but hear how the whales and dolphins truly are. Instructing us is the best way. If people would pay attention more, most of our situations would be less dramatic if we wanted to listen or pay attention more. What are you getting from Presley? First, did you connect to Presley? Did you get her coming in?
Hmm.
You can close your eyes and just sit still, breathe with your mouth open, and put one hand out to the side and have a light show up on your eyelids. And I'll just talk one more time, one sentence. You can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason whatsoever. And with that, now are you getting a little bit of light on your eyelids? Okay,
Now I'm getting lightness.
that's Presley. Just ask her anything you want. Be like, what's a final reminder for everybody on this whole journey that we're on together, collectively, with all the animals and mammals and everybody else?
We are not alone. We are not alone here. And we don't have to separate ourselves. we need to not separate ourselves and feel so all alone. We are connected to everything.
And every action ripples, and you own it whether you know it or not. You'll know it later in life or much, much later. So the more you can just slow down before you take a step, just to pay attention a little more, and pay off in spades. Okay.
Yeah.
So have you done the Seychelles or some of the other stuff in the Indian Ocean? Could you share with us some other parts of the globe, Australia, anywhere, or where else have you taken
Mhm.
groups in the past?
Well, I went on a birthing journey from Nashville, stopping by Hawaii and then New Zealand to a water birthing conference with my husband. And I was 8 months pregnant then. And we went on to Australia, all the way to the westernmost side of Australia, to a place called Monkey Maya. And it's a place where fishermen used to throw their scrap fish in a long time ago. And the dolphins got used to coming into the very shallow water and meeting people. And we never fed them a fish, but there was a campground there. We camped there for a month while I was 9 months pregnant and waited to give birth with the dolphins on the beach. 200 miles, 200 kilometers from a hospital and 25 miles down a gravel road at a campground.
Wow.
And that would be a place I would love to go back to. It's now turned into a more national park rather than just a campground. And I'm not sure what rules, but I was kneeling in the sand, 9 months pregnant, and a 3-year-old Holly, baby bottlenose dolphin, came and laid in my lap sideways, her tummy against my tummy, looking up into my arms. I mean, looking up into my eyes and my arms.
Ooh.
My husband played guitar. He would stroll around in the shallow water and play guitar to the dolphins, and they would come around us. Yeah, a magical place. I haven't been there in 38 years. That's my daughter was born.
I'll put up one more angel photo. I don't think I did it before. She's everything plants, animals, nature. Mac, don't call her Mackenzie. Just get one final reminder. Maybe it's something that has to do with that experience that we can all relate to. Just an extrapolation. And what are you getting?
Uh, she said, "You didn't tell him the end of that adventure story." Actually, I ended up going back and having a cesarean after 39 hours of labor.
Oh, whoa.
But it did not happen at the campground.
Nope.
And the adventure was fabulous. And I had a pain-free birth in a hospital to a beautiful daughter. So trust again, trust your steps, even if they seem irrational, maybe, or unreasonable, or, odd to do. And then trust when it needs to go in another direction or whatever comes from. Really be authentic, be yourself, and hold on to yourself no matter what the pressures from the outside world come in, and connect again to the whole, to Mother Earth and to all of life here on this beautiful planet. Look around and see the beauty here. It's still so beautiful.
And
It,
Roberta, can you identify the best way somebody can reach you the fastest way, the way that you think is the easiest way?
on Messenger.
Okay.
Facebook Messenger is great. I'm on WhatsApp too, but Facebook Messenger.
Do you have a website though that's guaranteed people can track you down, or your Instagram account? I'll put the details below the video, but what can you leave us with here that's a surefire way to reach you? So they're not looking for Roberta Goodman. They've got a specific way to go.
Wild Dolphin Swims Hawaii.
Perfect. Wild Dolphin swims,
Swims Hawaii,
and that's
and
dolphin singular.
although that business is changing to Wild Dolphins and Whales International.
Yes. And so maybe there'll be a new handle at some point for the new website
but
or a
but
revised.
it will always go there. It will
Awesome.
always go there. Yeah. Hmm.
Good. Well, I've got one final experiential Act 2 finals. I just made that up, but here's one. I'll show light on my hands with a background, and it's just the Force from Star Wars consciousness. You'll see light flowing between my fingers. I think Celestine Prophecy, the movie, did it, but I had another guest on who said in the 70s they were doing that before the movie ever existed this way. In India, they do it this way. But my point is, once you see my light, that's wonderful. It's fun. I'll tell a dad joke. Ask the universe and ask your dolphin friends to bring in more light that you know can't possibly be mine. People have been getting butterflies. Two people got phoenixes. I don't know why. Angels, flowers, hearts, extra light that's more vortexy or something. I don't see why you can't get a dolphin. I didn't just say that out loud. Let everyone, you all figure it out. I just do the light and I tell a dad joke. So Santa's reindeer, Blitzen, Dancer to keep it animal oriented. Santa's reindeer, Blitzen, Dancer, just those two. Why do they drink so much coffee, Blitzen and Dancer? Because they're Santa's. Starbucks. And then just see a little bit of colored light, be in your heart, do the Zen thing, seeing without seeing. What filament of light do you see between my fingers?
You're making me dizzy.
Are you feeling it as much as you're seeing it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, what color do you see or colors?
Well, it was very violet.
Yay. Can
Yes.
you can you ask all your dolphin buddies and angels and the universe to add an extra object in there or an extra flow that you know is not me? And
Mm.
then what are you getting? Just ask for extra fun.
Easily, it's waves. You're
Aw,
surfing waves inside a tunnel. What are those tube inside a wave tube? Yeah.
I love it. Thank you for doing that. One last item. Whatever your highest vibration was from, oh, I'm getting goosebumps, of describing all that, whether it was the tank and getting encapsulated and getting a special ride, or the zipping, or the baby whale, or the this, or the that, you and the universe and dolphins and whales and angels. Let's just put our hands up. I'm in Texas, you're in Florida. Only our highest vibe, not this stuff, the bill paying. I got to go back to thinking in an hour. But just love and above right now. I'm going to whoosh you 3 times light. If you want to see a little symbol or a dolphin in front of you, that's fine. Let it go into your field. This is between you and the universe, though. I'm only whooshing you low, medium, and high. Think of it as the sonic blasting. What's the proper terminology for what dolphins do? The cones of sound. What's that called?
Sonar?
Sonar. Thank you. Here comes the first whoosh, but this is sonar of love and consciousness and awareness. It's angels doing everything. I'm just whooshing you a ping pong ball, but the ping pong ball will be from the crew. Here comes the first one. Feel it front and back and all around you. Little Hawaii in the air. And could you feel that whoosh A-okay?
Static.
Okay, and then do you mind using an adjective for what you're feeling on the hand, sort of the baseline? Is it sparkly, electricity, warmth? What are you getting?
Yeah, tingly, especially at the bottom of my palm. Yeah.
Cool. But if you don't mind asking Rosie to kick it into gear for you on the medium one here, to do something extra, be your chaperone, be the ambassador, who knows? And if you like anybody else, Kuna, Auntie Margaret, ask them to make it nice. And was that entirely different, 50% different, more fun, sparkly?
Very rosy, yes. It was actually flower rosy.
Oh, and then last but not least, go big, go home. You're already home. Let's go big. This one, just say Sakatumi Universe at home. It doesn't matter if this is 5 years in the future, and it doesn't matter if you put your hand up to you and me in the future, and there's a three-way instead. You can have fun with this any time of the year in the future. Why not? One moment's the same as the next. What will you allow for? Here comes the big love. And get dolphin love in there. Lots of dolphin consciousness. Hear a squeak. And was
Yeah.
that A-okay as well?
Hmm. Like
Okay.
a dolphin hug. I could feel hugging. Just
Aw. Do you mind using words now, though, and help share a little more to help someone calm down so they can be like, okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, Linda, I want to experience that. They can play this back. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share. And now dolphin emojis. Put them in there. You don't have to put a comment. Just be like dolphin emojis. Um, what just happened in what you experienced? Did you get a little dolphin consciousness in? And can you explain how peaceful it is, unifying?
Imagine holding a totally naked being, so smooth and so unthreatening, non-threatening, just total naked vulnerability, smoothness, silkiness, heartfulness, chest to chest. They open up their heart. You can feel their heartbeat, and their throat all opens to you, and they totally embrace you into their beingness, into their sense of godliness, into their knowing of the universe and the world. And as they somersault from life to life so easily, we
That's
probably
beautiful. You're reminding me, I think it's a January 12th of 2025 episode that hasn't come out yet from our perspective with Dr. Jonathan Ellerby, PhD. He was head of spirituality at Canyon Ranch, director of spirituality at Canyon Ranch. He was doing whatever big position is at Althea Center in Denver. He's got a Hay House book out, Sounds True, and other books as well. He's spent 30 years hitting 40 countries for travel on a spiritual basis, sort of thing, Africa, Amazon. And he shares in his second appearance, sitting in a hut with 3 medicine men. He did drink the juice on the second trip. The first trip, the organization he's with, they wouldn't let him actually take any steps, but the medicine men invited him back. He had to be prepared for 4 or 5 days. And there's a point that I'm getting to. In the middle of that experience, a ball of light starts to circle the hut. Now, it's an enclosed hut. He can't see outside, but he can feel it, sense it, and see it kind of mind's eye, just a ball of light. And when it comes through the door, or the door opens somehow, and in front of him, there's extra light coming from it. Now, the 3 men saw the jaguar and saw the rainbow light that came from the jaguar. And it's the same description you just gave of that throat, heart opening and sharing its light with him. And in the show that's coming up in January of 2025, people have to look it up, Dr. Jonathan Ellerby. I've already got him, I think, coming back for his 3rd or 4th appearance. We cannot have Jonathan not come back enough. He tells good stories. He's got this way about him. He gets to, at the end, close his eyes and revisit. And I need to mention the last little bit about one of the guys in the hut. The medicine man, like the next day, said to him, "Did you see the jaguar?" And he did not. He only saw the ball light and the extra light. He said, "Did you see the jaguar and the rainbow light he shared with you?" And Jonathan, at the end of that show, coming up in January of 2025, gets to close his eyes, revisit it, hear one of the medicine men, whether he's alive or not today, because it's kind of the same. And the jaguar came back in, and he got to see the other version that the older medicine men saw. He got to jump the fence. So is there a last request? Here's Joy. Privately, just close your eyes, ask for a super special experience. And I've got to put up Min as well. Ask for a swimming experience, only 30 seconds, but 30 seconds with your eyes closed can really be 2 minutes of other consciousness time. Ask for a super special experience. 3 angels underwater, breathe through the mouth. Ask for the whole pod of dolphins mixed, spotted, and all your favorites coming together in a new super pod. Have them swim around you and get, in 30 seconds, have 5 minutes worth of transactions happening that last the rest of the year. And have them come in dream time. Hear that this won't be the only time. Anytime you want to take a nap and swim with them, you can. Did you get a really intense, quick?
Yes,
Good.
I did.
Well, that's for anybody else too, who just, what will you allow for? You can put your hand out and have an angel put light in your hand, or dolphin consciousness. And we're going to leave it at that. Maybe we can have you back on the show at your convenience. Roberta, you've been fantastic. Do you want to leave us with a couple of closing thoughts for how people can just chill out more, relax more, not worry about what other people are doing so much and try to do so much structure? I mean, mankind has caused a lot of damage and a lot of harm, and that's par for the course when you're doing the brain. Talk to us about the heart and how much capability we have there that's yet untapped.
Well, I'd like to recommend going to my Vimeo channel and watching that experience. Is called The Eye of the Hurricane, the Dolphin Hurricane, in Vimeo, vimeo.com/Roberta Goodman. And it's about 10-15 minutes of a dolphin hurricane all around you, just like you described, with all the energy and the wonderment and what are they doing. I've never had a great explanation. I've never had an explanation for it, but it's just overwhelming. And the same with the heart of the world. Go to the heart of dolphin land and immerse yourself with the dolphins, and you'll be swimming with them. It's just a first person perspective with the dolphins all around you. Open your heart, and you can be there. Look, you can be there.
Can Min and Mac give you that label for the hurricanes swooshing around you? But you're not going to share it out loud. You're only going to say, got it. They'll give you a beautiful phrase that you'll be able to then share with your groups. Hear what that is specifically, and just say, got it when you got it, but you do not have to share it unless they're like, no, absolutely share it. No big shakes. You got it? Yay. I love it. Roberta
Thank
Goodman,
you.
coming to us from Florida, but with Hawaii in your blood, and dolphins in your blood, and whales in your consciousness. Thank you for being an amazing guest. You shared a lot, and thank you again.
Thank you, Michael. You're an amazing host, and I love you. I love your presence, and I love interacting with you, being with you. Thank you so much for finding me, however you did, and inviting me onto the show. This has been a great pleasure. And
Well,
bye, everybody.
thank you again.
Thanks for joining us.
Take care.